What's up? The day is finally here. We're finally doing a comparison between my old $500 PC and my brand new $2,000 PC. Now obviously I'm a Fortnite channel, so all the benchmarks and comparisons are going to be done in Fortnite. As always, drop a like if you find yourself enjoying it, as well as click the subscribe button if you want to see more of my content in the future. It's greatly appreciated. And lastly, if you want to support me in the Fortnite item shop, feel free to use code Carter2K20 when making your purchases. Alright, we're going to start off with the $500 PC. Now I say this is my $500 PC. I actually purchased it about a year and a half ago for $450. Now I didn't build this PC, I actually bought it used off of one of my brother's friends. So he originally built it for around $1,000, and I think right now if you tried to build it, it'd be somewhere around $800, but I actually purchased it for $450 used. And if you want to know the more detailed story about that, you can check out that video up there. But let's hop into Fortnite and see how this one performs. So quickly hopping into my settings so you know everything, I'm playing on the settings which will give me the best possible frames per second. So I'm playing on like the ultimate performance mode. I don't care how good the graphics look, I'm strictly playing for performance. So because of this, I have view distance on epic, but everything else I have is either low or off. And typically when I play, I cap my FPS at 160. But for the sake of this video, I'm changing it to unlimited, so let's see what we can get. So let's stare up into the sky real quick, and it looks like we're getting around mid 300s for normal FPS. So let's build around a little bit and see what we get. It looks like we're still staying almost 300s. It's like high 200s, low 300s for normal FPS during this test. We're in creative, I'm just free building. This is pretty non-graphically intensive. So let's actually hop into a game and see how we perform in game. So in game here, while I'm sitting here flexing my edits, we're getting a pretty steady 140, I'd probably say, frames on average. For your guys' knowledge, I actually recorded the gameplay using GeForce Experience. The frames I'm getting in game is a result of only having my Fortnite open. I had no background activity going on. And as we make our way down to retail, looks like we're getting about 170, 180 frames. As we get a little closer and getting close to land, it hops down to around 130, I'd say. Alright, we see a dude, hit him with the headshot. So while we're shooting and fighting, it's about 150 frames per second, but this is again in a main POI. It's just pretty common knowledge that when you're in a POI, especially a main POI, you're going to get lower frames versus if you were just on a random spot running around the map. So for example, right here, I'm running around and it's around 200, a little more than 200 frames on average. Just me trying to get into the safe zone in this new desert looking thing. We're looking at went over that and I'm getting under 100 frames at this point. So it looks like it definitely varies whether you're in a main POI, you're in creative, but I'd say on average in a real game I was probably getting around 140 to 160 frames per second. And then that test that everyone likes to do, looking straight up in the sky in creative, I was getting around 350 frames. While we're checking out these frames per second, I should probably let you guys know what's actually in this PC. So the main specs of this computer are an AMD Ryzen 5 2600 6-core for my CPU. I have an Nvidia GeForce GTX 1060 for my graphics card. I have 16 gigabytes of RAM, and I have a little over 2 terabytes of storage. Like I said, if you built this computer brand new, you're going to be running yourself about $800 to $900, somewhere in there. But I got a good deal on it. I bought it used off of one of my brother's friends a little over a year ago for only $450. So this is my $500 PC. Now let's compare it to my brand new $2,000 PC. Alright, and now we are moving on to the $2,000 brand new built by PowerGPU PC. This thing is a beast. It actually has a 3070 in it. It has an i7-10700. It has 32 gigabytes of 3600 megahertz RAM. It has 3 terabytes of storage, 1 terabyte of that being an SSD. And best of all, it has a legit key of Windows 10 so I don't have that annoying watermark down in the bottom right hand corner of my monitor and tell me to activate my Windows. One other thing I should quickly note is that my GeForce Experience is not working on my new PC. I probably just have to go in and reinstall GeForce Experience, but I don't have time for that right now. So this footage captured is actually captured with OBS running in the background. So it is taking away a chunk of extra frames that I could be getting in game. But regardless of that, it should still be doing really well. So let's check it out. So doing the test everyone loves, looking straight up into the air. It's looking like I'm getting a pretty consistent lower 600 frames, which is pretty ridiculous. I mean, no one needs 600 frames in any game. But as previously stated, the brunt of this comparison is done in like a performance mode in Fortnite. But I also want to see the difference when I set both PCs to have epic settings on Fortnite. So we can get a little side by side here going. It looks like on the $500 PC, I'm barely breaking like 70 frames just looking around in my creative island, while over on my $2,000 PC, I'm getting well over 300 frames while even building and everything on my epic settings. The game looks absolutely phenomenal as well. So I don't know, I might change a couple of my settings up for some better looking gameplay for you guys. Obviously that'll be in future videos, not this one. This one's all about performance. Let's throw all the settings in low and hop into a public match and see what this PC can do. Alright, so we're sitting here in the little island loading whatever, and we're averaging about 230 frames. Alright, so over here gliding into retail, it looks like we're keeping pretty consistent over 200 as we get closer. That's starting to dwindle, and then as you see when we land and actually get into the house and stuff, our frames go up pretty consistently, well over 200s, even popping into 300s. Alright, so it looks like this dude does want to fight us. Good thing we're rocking a little over 200 frames again. That seems to be where it stays pretty consistently. I got some good hits in on him. So yeah, throughout this fight, we're actually popping pretty consistently, like high 200s. Drop down and get the kill on him. Easy. So you're obviously going to get a lot more frames when you're in less framey areas. So when there's not as much on your screen, like a blank field. So right here when I'm looking over the entire desert, I'm getting like mid 100s. But as soon as I look down at the ground, then it's popping all the way back up to almost 300. Let's take a look at our next fight. We're going in. We're rocking about almost 300 frames, mid 200s. I got that piece control on deck, and we get him. So we go to make a play on this dude again, rocking almost 300 frames in endgame of a pub match. And we get him. Now, I don't really play competitive or scrim or even play at high arena points, so I'm not going to be able to show you the stacked endgame frames, but this dude's out of the match. We can mess with him a little bit, but as you can see, we're in like one of the final circles, rocking about 300 frames, and we pick up the dub. So in conclusion, our $2,000 PC is better than our $500 PC. Who would have thought? This wasn't really meant to be a this versus this video. This was more meant to be like what I used to play on versus what I'm playing on now, and just the insane difference that PCs can have. So thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you made it all the way here to the end. Don't forget to drop a like as well as subscribe for more future content, and I hope to see you guys in a future video.